This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so in the last session, we discussed about that how to write a pipeline script using the declarative way, and also we discussed about that how to create a job using the multi-branch pipeline project type, right? So today we'll discuss about that build with parameters. This is one of the important topic. Then we'll discuss about that master-slave architecture. Okay, see, so far we discussed about that only the master instance. So we'll create that slave instances, and we are going to discuss how to communicate master with slave, how to run the jobs. Okay, so first we'll discuss about that build with parameters. See, when we are going to this build with parameters, if you want to pass that parameters dynamically while running the job, we are going to use build with parameters. See here, you can build with parameters, some parameters. See, I have a jobs. I have three jobs. Facebook dev, Facebook QA, Facebook prod. Okay, so three jobs are there. Assume that the branch name we are hard coded for a dev branch QA job products. So for a dev environment, usually from which branch we are going to get the code? We are going to get the code from development environment. For QA, stage branch or QA branch. For production, from the master branch we are going to get. So now instead of creating three jobs for the same project, I have to create a one job. Okay, I want to pass that values dynamically, right? So that time we are going to use this build with parameters. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a one job. Okay, so I'm going to create a job name as Facebook. Okay, so that is the job name. So I'm going to select that freestyle project. Click on OK. Okay, so I'm going to select that Git. So I'm going to give the repository URL. So our repository URL. So just take that github.com. This is our organization. So if you go and see, this is another repository which we are using. Copy. Okay. So credentials. Select the GitHub credentials. So here, branch name. I don't want to hardcode this one because same job we are going to use for dev environment, QA environment, production environment. Right. So I don't want to get the code from master branch by default. I want to pass that branch name based on my requirement. Right. Okay. So where we will get those branch names. So for that one, if you see, this project is parameterized. This project is parameterized. Okay. Select this one. Add parameter. So it's a choice parameter, right? N number of values it will be there. So from that one we are going to select it. So select this choice parameter. So give any name here. So I'm going to give the branch name. I'm going to give the name as branch name. here choices. So what are the possible branches are there? Na? Those branch names we are going to keep it here. So if you see here, what are the branches are there? Master branch is there, development branch is there, UAT branch, like that it is there. So now I'm going to write development, master, UAT, QA, right? So like this, I mentioned some branch names, right? I mentioned some branch names. So now I want to get, suppose I'm going to select any one of the branch name, right? So automatically that value is going to assign to this particular name. It is going to assign to this particular name. So now how to get this particular variable value? See, whatever we are going to select from these branches, it is going to assign to this one. How to get that one? Hmm? Very simple. If you want to get a value, what we are going to do? Dollar symbol, that variable name. Here also, instead of manually hard coding this branch name, dollar, okay, within the flower brackets, we are going to keep. Okay, within the flower brackets, we are going to keep this. Okay, so like this, can we add some other choices here? So, and also here, if you want, you can give the description also. Selecting the branch name, selecting the branch name. So this is one parameter, choice parameter. So like that, is there any other parameters? Yes. If you click on add parameter, Boolean parameter, credentials. So most of the time we are going to select this choice parameter and string parameter. So select this one, string parameter. So here I'm going to give name as I'm going to give the variable name as name, or you can give that person name, person name. Okay, here you can give that value, default value. So I'm going to give that within technologies, within technologies, right? So automatically by default this value is going to take if you don't pass any value. If you want, you can override also dynamically, you can pass this value. Okay, so now I want to print this value. So here if you go under build step, you will see execute shell. So if you want to run the shell script, we are going to use this option, execute shell. Okay, so here echo the person name is dollar. So you can keep like this one. Okay, save it. Now if you observe, earlier it was build now option. Now if you see here, it is showing that build with parameters. It is showing that build with parameters, right? So if you click on this one, see, by default it is going to take the brand name as development and the person name within technologies. Is it possible to change? Yes, see, you can select it. Then why it took that development as a default branch name? Because while typing that names in the choice parameters, first one is that development branch. So whatever we type that in that order only, it is going to come, not in the alphabetical, Dharmendra. So I have typed development first, master, UAT, QA. If it is alphabetical, see UAT has to come last, right? What, however, you have given the values, right, in that order it is going to come. Okay. So now, so first let me select this default values. Click on build. So now, if you want, you can go and see here console output. See, it is getting the code from development branch, and if you observe here, the person name is Mithun Technologies, right? So the person name, it is showing that Mithun Technologies, right? So now let's see whether it is going to take those values or not. Go here, click on build with parameters. So instead of development, I am going to select that master. So here I am going to change that Mithun software solutions. Mithun software solutions. Click on build. Go to that build number 2 console output. Okay. If you see here, it is taking the code from master branch, and value is person values Mithun software solutions. So like this, whatever that values you want to pass to your job, using this build with parameters, dynamically you can pass those values. Dynamically you can pass those values. Clear? Anybody have any questions about this build with parameters? It's a very, very important topic, guys. It's very, very important topic. So if it is a freestyle or Maven project type, we are going to get the values like this one, right? Suppose if it is a pipeline script, how we can get the values? Let's see. Okay. So create a job, build with parameters, pipeline, select that project name as pipeline, click on OK. Right. So here I'm going to write the script. Okay. So here just select with hello world. So automatically it is going to display that one sample script. Right. So here check out code, check out code. Right. So here we need to get that code from the particular branch. Right. So for that one already we have written just this one. So instead of hard coding this value, right? So I need to get this value dynamically. How to get it? Okay. So here, if it is a freestyle, first we have added choice parameter, right? Here, if you see, this project is parameterized. I don't want to use any GUI option, right? Here it is there, add choice parameter. I don't want to use these things. So those things also here I want to specify. Okay. So for that one, click on pipeline syntax. Declarative. So here parameters, add parameters. So I'm going to select that choice parameter. So the brand, give the name as branch name, choices, master branch, QA branch, QA branch, then test branch. Do we have that branch name test? We don't have, right? Let's see. If I select this test, so if you see whether it is there, test also it is there. There is no QA branch. There is no QA branch. So if you select this branch, is it going to get that code from that QA branch? You will get an error. Let's see. And here, if you want, you can give that description. Select the branch name. Select the branch name. Click on generate declarative directive. Just copy this one. Okay. Go to your job. Keep here. Okay. So now, how to get this value? So here, see that branch name. This one we have given. So these are that list, n number of values, right? So we are going to specify in the list. So list, how we can do, specify in the Groove script, square brackets, right? So here now we are going to use dollar symbol within the flower brackets, PARMS, params dot whatever the name you are using. So this keyword you have to use params dot branch name, right? So you have to keep within this double quotes, otherwise it is not going to work. Okay, let's see. So click on build now. So by default it is going to take that so we are getting some error, maybe syntax error, console output. Okay, so it is saying that no such property params. So we have to give that PARAMS. Okay, so easily you can able to understand, guys. Just read that error message. See, it is showing that no such property params, PARAMS params we have to give. Click on configure. So here PARAMS params. Now if you see, we'll get this build with parameters. So first time you are not going to see that option. So second time after once you done that build, it will show build with parameters. Click on this build with parameters. So select whatever the branch you want. So I'm going to select that master. First we'll select this master branch. Click on build. So if you go here and see that in the console output, just observe that it got the code from master branch, right? Got the code from master branch. So now suppose I'm going to select that QA branch. Do we have this branch name QA? We don't have. Let's see what type of error we are going to get. Click on build now. And if you see, click on this console output. Observe here, we are getting this error. Couldn't find any revision to build. Verify the repository and a branch configured for this particular job. It is clearly saying that we are not able to do the build because maybe the repository URL or branch name is wrong. So guys, many times people are pinging me this kind of issue. Just observe, after reading this error message, easily you can able to understand. Na? Yes, right? If you observe here, it is taking the code, it is trying to get the code from QA branch, but we don't have that any branch QA. We don't have any branch QA. That's right. So click on build parameter, select that test, click on build. Okay, so it is going to take the code from console output. It is going to take the code from where? Observe here, test branch. We have that branch called as test. Sir, so like this, guys, we are going to this build with parameters. Okay, in the freestyle project type and Maven project type also. Right. So if it is a Maven, this one pipeline script, we are going to use params dot that property name. Right. So like this, we are going to get it like this. Clear? Anybody have any questions, please, about this build with parameters? So it is very important topic, and we are going to use also. Okay. No questions. We'll discuss about that another important topic, master slave architecture. So why we need to implement this master slave architecture? Why? See, assume in this master instance, I have hundreds of jobs are there. Okay. So if you trigger all the jobs at a time, what will happen? It will take more time. It will take more time to complete that one. To instead of running all the 100 jobs in this master instance, if you distribute some jobs to that other instances, then it will be very quickly to complete the jobs, right? Complete the build. Yes or no? So to improve the performance, we are going to use this master slave architecture. We are going to use master slave architecture. So right now, whatever that okay, Sojan is saying that. Can you repeat this one? Yes. See, why we need to use this master slave architecture? To improve the performance. Suppose assume I have created that hundreds of jobs in this master instance. If you trigger all the jobs, it may take more time to complete that build. Instead of that one, I'm going to distribute some builds to that other instances. So we are going to call as the slave 1, slave 2, slave 3, or we can call as node 1, node 2, node 3. Nodes are slaves, both are same. Okay, we are going to call as either a slave or node, right? So Suresh is asking, is it called running parallel jobs? No. So that is different. Okay. Yes, we can run that parallel jobs. Okay, see, one job we can run in the master instance, another jobs you can run in the slave machines, right? So here I'm going to create these slaves, okay, and I'm going to configure some jobs out of 100, maybe 10 jobs here, 30 jobs here, maybe 20 jobs here. So like that I'm going to configure. So on what basis we are going to decide number of jobs to configure here? Depends on the server resources. Assume in this Linux server where I'm going to create the slave to, the high configurations are there. High configurations are there, right? So that time I can configure more jobs, right? I can configure more jobs. So how to configure, how to run those jobs here, we'll see later, right? After complete this setup, we are going to do this setup. So if you want to implement this master slave architecture, so these slaves we are going to create in another Linux server. See, currently we are using one Linux server. There we install this Jenkins master instance, right? But in the same Linux server, are we going to create these slaves? We are not going to create these slaves. If you create these slaves in the same Linux server where master is running, no use, right? Because same resources it is going to use. Yes or no? So that's why we are not going to use the same Linux server to create these slaves. So Dharmendran is asking, is it like to can distribute repositories dev on stage 1, QA on stage? It's not like that one. So I will show you. Okay. So the interviewer is going to ask how many instances you have created for your master Jenkins server. So in one of my Jenkins server, we have created that 5 nodes, or we can call it 5 slaves. So in one slave or one node, we are running that all the Node.js related applications. In another node, we are running only the client specific jobs. Like suppose if you take Facebook, so we created one slave name called as Facebook, and there we are running all the Facebook related applications. So like that, based on our requirement, we are going to create that n number of slaves. So if the interviewer asks how many slaves you are using, you can tell him I have created that. So in my one of the Jenkins server, we created that 5 slaves. Okay. So Om Prakash was asking this question. So guys, it depends on your requirement. So it is not the fixed one. So only the 5 slaves you have to create, or 6 slaves. You can create a number of slaves also. But in one of my Jenkins master instance, 5 slaves we have created. Okay. So each slave we are using for some specific purpose, right? So here I have one question. So we have created the jobs in master instance. This one, right? So this one we are going to call as master instance, guys. So where you have installed that Jenkins, this Jenkins we are going to call as master instance. So now we are going to create these slaves in different Linux server. In this Linux server, do we need to install the Java? Yes, you have to install the Java. So here, guys, slave is nothing but it's a piece of software which it is going to run, right? So that piece of software developed using the Java. So you should install the Java first here, where you want to create the slave. And also assume here in master instance, already I have created some jobs. So this I'm going to configure these jobs, any one of these jobs into the slave one. So the jobs information is going to store in which instance? Is in master instance or slave instance. It is going to be available? It will be available that the jobs information in the master instance only. All the jobs information which is available in the master instance. Where in the master instance? Which directory? In the jobs directory. If you go to our Jenkins home directory, there you will see that jobs directory, right? So already we discussed in the right. So all the jobs information is available in the master instance. Suppose assume you have configured one job here in slave one and you have triggered that job. So that job is going to get some code from the GitHub. So now that code it is going to store in the master instance or in the slave machine. Where it is going to store? It is going to store in the slave machine only, slave instance only, right? It is going to store in the slave instance only. So why? Because here only the job is going to execute. So while executing that job, it is going to get the some code, right? So that's why it is going to get the code from GitHub, whatever the source code you have configured, and it is going to download into here, and it will process and it will do the build, right? So your source code is going to be available in the your slave information, your slave server, slave instance. Another entry question. So in this Linux server, where you are going to create this slave, na? In that Linux server, are we going to install the Jenkins again? Hmm? So Dharmendran is saying yes. Praveen Kumar also saying yes. Tarun Mahesh is saying no. So we are not going to install the Jenkins. If you install Jenkins again, what will happen? That is, we are going to consider as a master instance. See guys, we are not going to install the Jenkins in the slave machines, right? We are not going to create it. Okay. So we are going to install in one server only. Okay. So now you may have question, sir, these slaves can be created only in the Linux machine, or can we create in the master instance, or can sorry, this Windows operating system, or can we create in MacBook? So guys, these slaves you can create in any of the operating system, not only a Linux, right? Even in your master also you can create in any of the operating system. You can install in any of the operating system. But most of the time, in the real time, we are going to use that Linux servers only. So, so now I'm going to create a one Linux server. There I'm going to install this, create this slave, or we can call as node, right? So now I'm going to create a one Linux server. So 1 GB RAM is enough, guys. Okay. So 1 GB RAM is fine just to create instance and run the job. Okay. Select this one. Next, 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 review and launch. Select this one. Launch instances. Okay. Return view instances. So give the name. So we're going to give the name as slave one. So once the server is up and running, we are going to give that. So still it is okay. So it's up and running. So let me connect to the server. First, we are going to install the Java. So copy, open the terminal, go to the folder where your PEM files are there. Still, this server is not up and running fully. So that's why it is saying that connection refused. Yeah, server is up and running. So we have successfully connected. See, just type uname. See, it is showing that Linux. So switch it to the root user. Switch it to the root user. Then install the Java. Right. So go to that our blog. Go to that label Java. Okay. So guys, follow this URL. This one. So these are the steps you guys have to follow to install the Java. You guys don't follow these steps. Okay. These steps don't follow. Don't install that OpenJDK. Okay. So install that Oracle JDK. So switch to the root user and execute all these commands. Copy. So first we have switched to the root user and I'm going to paste it all the commands. It's installing. First is installing that wget package. So Java is installing. So Java has installed successfully. If you want, you can verify it. Java hyphen version. See, Java successfully installed. So now, what we are going to do, we are going to create that slave. Okay. So log out with the root user. So currently, I'm in EC2 user home directory. Okay. Now, here I'm going to create a one directory. mkdir slave one. Okay, so this is a directory which I am going to use, okay, to store that my slave one information. So this is a directory which I am going to use to store the slave one information, right? So now we'll go here, Jenkins master instance. So I'm going to create that slave one first. For that one, click on manage Jenkins, click on manage Jenkins. Here, if you see manage nodes, here manage nodes and clouds. So using this one, we can remove or control monitor that various nodes that Jenkins runs jobs on. Click on this one. See, right now only one node is there. So that one we are going to call as built-in node. And earlier it was we are calling that master. So now from this latest version, they have changed the name as built-in node. Okay. So earlier it was we are calling as master instance. Earlier we were calling as master instance. Okay, master node. Now they have renamed it to built-in node. Okay. So now if you want to create another node, see here new node. Click on new node. So give the name. So I'm going to give that slave one, or you can give the node one, your wish guys. So whatever the name you want, you can give. Select this permanent agent, click on create. So here description, if you want, you can give whatever the name you want. So we'll come back about this number of executors. Based on this number of executors, it is going to decide how many jobs we can run parallelly. How many jobs we can run parallelly. Someone is asking, right, how many jobs we can run at a time. It depends on your number of executors. If your number of executors is five jobs at a time you can run. 5 jobs at a time you can run. Right. So remote root directory. See guys, if you are not clear about this one, about this particular field, see here we have one help. Just click on this one help tool. It will give an agent needs to have a directory dedicated Jenkins. Specify the path to this directory to store some data related to this node. So already we have created. So just take this one. Okay. Give the forward slash home slash cc-user slash slave one. Labels. So you can give any label name or whatever the name you have given, that name also you can give as a label name. That name also you can give as a label name. Right. So what is the use of giving the same label name for multiple instances? Can we give that same label name for all these 3 instances? Suppose I'm going to give the name as slave 1, slave 2, slave 3 names. Can I give that label name as slaves for all these 3 instances? Yes, you can give name, duplicate name it is not going to allow. but label name you can give same label name. So what is the advantage of giving that same label name for all the instances? So if you give that same label name for all these slaves, while configuring job in master instance, if you give the label name, in this label, what are the slaves are available in that particular slave, your job is going to run. So slave is nothing but it's a logical group of slaves. The label is nothing but logical group of slaves or nodes, right? So if you give the label this label name, in that label whatever that slave is available, automatically it is going to, your job is going to run. So instead of instead of label name, if you give that slave name while configuring the job, what will happen? Your job is going to run in that particular slave only. Suppose assume you have configured 10 jobs here. You have triggered all the 10 jobs. So at a time, 10 jobs it is not going to trigger, right? Based on your number of executors. Suppose I have given that number of executors is 5. So only 5 jobs at a time it is going to trigger. So remaining 5 jobs are going to be in the waiting state. Remaining 5 jobs are going to be in the waiting state. Yes or no? So but that time these two instances are available, but it is not able to use these two instances to run those particular jobs. Why? Because we didn't configure that label name. We have configured that slave name. If you configure slave name, in that particular slave only your jobs are going to run. Clear? So that is the advantage of giving the same label name in for all the slaves, or we can call as nodes. Okay. So I'm going to give the label name as slaves. Right. Use this node as much as possible. We have other one more option is there. Only build jobs with the label expression matching this node. We are not going to use that one. So we are going to use this. And launching method. You see, currently my master instance is in Linux server. Slaves also in the Linux. Master and slaves both are in the Linux server. Right. So now how it is going to connect using this SSH connection type. So it is going to use the protocol as TCP/IP protocol. So but the connection type is SSH. So you have to select that here. Launch agents via SSH. And here you have to give that host name. Here you have to give the host name. So where you want to create this slave machine, a slave instance. Select that server, copy. This is the public IP address of that slave. You can give it. Credentials. See, if you want to connect to that server, okay, we need to give that PEM file. So for that one, right now we didn't configure. Right, click on add Jenkins. So instead of username with password, we are going to use that SSH username with the private key. Then here, give the username as EC-user. Here, private key, enter directly. Click on add. Here, what you have to do? So whatever the PEM file we used for creating this instance, so that PEM file content, see, DevOps MSS March. This is the PEM file which we are using. Okay, so select this, take that PEM file content to open any SSH tool like Git Bash, Mobaxter. Go to the folder where your PEM files are there. Then display the content cat devops mss march.pem. So take this content, okay, right click, copy, right, go here and paste it, paste it, right, and don't give any passphrase. Description, here you can give that slave credentials. Okay, click on add. So now you can select that this one, slave credentials. If you observe here, EC-user is there. Here also it is EC-user is there, right? That's why we need to give that description. Select this one, slave credentials, and host key verification strategy. So use this one, manually trusted key verification strategy. Okay, and availability. Keep this agent online as much as possible. We have two more other options also. If you see here, bring this agent online according to a schedule. Means this particular time you can come online, then you can go offline, right? Then bring this agent online when in demand and take offline when ideal. Means, so when there is no need, go offline, right? When in demand means when it is required, you can come online. So automatically it will. But we are going to use this one. Keep this agent online as much as possible, right? And also if you see here, node properties. So we are not going to select any node properties, because if you don't select any node properties, what will happen? It is going to take that default node properties, master instance node properties. So if you don't want to take master instance node properties, you can select that these things. You can select these things, right? But I'm not going to select now. So let it be. It will take the default master instance properties. Click on save. So right now it is blinking, means it is trying to establish the connection with the master instance. Okay, let's see. So if you want, click on this one, slave one, and if you want, you can see the logs also. Click on log, just scroll down. You see, agent successfully connected and online. When if you see this message, means your instance, your that slave is ready to run the jobs. Your slave is ready to run the jobs, right? So now see here, now it is not blinking, means it established the connection to the master instance. It's established the connection to the master instance, right? So now like this guys, in the real time we are going to create that n number of nodes. Now how to configure to run this particular job in this particular slave? Very simple. And also guys, first you can go here, go to here, just type ls. See here, it created a one jar file, remoting.jar, and one directory name remoting, and one directory name remoting. Right. So this directory contains some files which are required to run that slave one. This is the jar file which it is going to use to establish the connection to that master instance to communicate. Right. So right now these two, one file and one directory has created. So now I'm going to run that one job in the slave one. Suppose if you take that Facebook-dev. So this is a freestyle project type, right? Click on configure. Okay, just scroll down. You will see one option. Okay, under general. Okay, you will see that restrict where this project can be done. Okay, so this option you can see under general tab. So once if you select this one, okay, once if you select that one, see here, once if select this one, restrict where this project can be done, it is going to use one input box. So there you have to give that either label name or slave name. If you give the slave name, in that particular slave only this job is going to run. If you give the node name, in that particular node, sorry, if you give the label name, in that particular label, whatever the available nodes are there it is going to execute. Right. So here I'm going to give the label name as slaves. See, I have typed slave. So automatically it is going to display that slave name and label name. So you can select it either one. Anyway, no difference now because in this particular label only one slave is there. Select this one. If you observe here, it is showing that no agent or cloud matches with this label expression because we have selected that one drop down. So it is going to add the space also, right? So remove the space. Once if you remove the space, see, it is giving that matches one node. Means from this particular slaves label, one node is added. Right. So like this, guys, here you can give that label name or node name you can give. Okay. Then click on save and trigger this job. Click on build now. And we can see also where this job is running. How we can see? Very simple. You can go to the bill number. So okay, so it is showing that bill number 27 console output. Just observe that building remotely on slave one. Right. So we have given that the slaves, but under slaves label, only one node is there called as the slave one. We are getting that error, guys. Can you guess what is this error? Yes. Thank you, Om Prakash, Shafiq. We need to install the Git. See, in this slave machine, did we install that Git? We didn't install the Git. Yes or no? So we need to install the Git. How to install the Git? Very simple. So in this machine, you can install this git yum install git -y. Very simple step. So guys, this is not a error. So people are pinging me, sir, I'm getting this error. So this is not a error. This system is not registered to the Red Hat subscription management. It is a warning. Just ignore it. So now Git has installed. If you want, you can check it. So Git -y version, right? So now, okay. So Om Prakash is asking, instead of install, we can use global tool configuration and you can install automatically. Yes, if you want, you can try it. Not a problem at all. You can do like that one also. So now, if you go and trigger this job, click on build now. Now you are not going to get the error. See, build number 28 and see that console output. If you observe, it is running on that slave one, right? And it downloaded the code. So guys, if you observe, it is executing that mn clean sonar colon sonar deploy also, but we are going to get some error because our SonarQube server and Nexus server is not up and running. If you observe, it is executing the build. It is doing the build. Did we install the Maven in this node instance? No, right? Then how it is working? Because did you remember we have installed, we have configured Maven in the global tool configuration in the master instance. So guys, whatever softwares which we have installed through global tool configuration, those properties are going to be available to that all the slaves by default if you don't select any node properties to specific to that node one node. So we didn't selected any node properties. That's why automatically the master node properties are available to this one. So in the master instance already we have configured that Maven software. So guys, even you can configure that Git also, Java also, right? Clear? So if it is a freestyle or if it is a Maven project type, right? We can see that, see, this is the Maven project type, right? So you can go and see, click on configure. You will see that restrict where this project can be run. This option is there, right? So this option is there. But if it is the pipeline project, if it is a pipeline project, see, just now I created one pipeline script. This one, Facebook, all right, not this one. I created this one, build with parameters pipeline. If you observe, if you go here, you are not able to see that under general section, restrict where this project can be run. You are not able to see, right? Then where we can mention the node name or slave name, label name. Come on, guys. Where we can configure in the pipeline script. See here, we are specifying that agent any, right? Instead of agent any, what we are going to do? We are going to specify label within the double quotes or single quote. Specify that label name. So the label name, or you can give here node name, slave one, or right? This is a node, or we can call a slave name or node name, or we can give here the label name also. This label name also you can give. Okay, it will work. Click on save and click on build with parameters. Click on build. So if you want, you can go and see this console output, this particular build, and you will see that see running on slave one. See here the project workspace. So if you go and see here now, see it has created that workspace directory and it has created the tools directory. So workspace directory contains that your project source code. Tools directory contains that what are the tools we have configured in global tool configuration. Those tools by default it is going to download into that tools directory when you are using that one. Clear guys? So like this we are going to use this master slave architecture. So now what I'm going to do, just for a demonstration purpose, I'm going to create another directory called as mkdir slave to mkdir slave to. So this is the directory which I'm going to use for the creating another slave, okay, another node. So Mahesh is asking in global tool, whatever we configure Git, then no need to install in Git. Yes. So suppose if you install, yes, if you configure Git in the global tool configuration, you don't want to install in any of the nodes. Clear? So now, usually guys, we are not going to create slaves in the same machine. Okay, we are going to create each slave in different machines. But just for demonstration purpose, I'm creating in that same machine only. So now go here, manage Jenkins, manage nodes, click on new node. So here I'm going to give that slave to. If you observe here, copy existing node means already whatever the slave you have created, na, those slave configurations you can apply to this new slave. It's like a copy existing job configurations. We saw one job, right? See, if you want to create one job with help of previous job configurations, we did right. Same way, this is also copy existing node configurations. I'm going to give slave one. Chaitanya is asking, what is the use of slave, sir? So, from beginning, you are attending my class, right? Today, Chaitanya. So, guys, what is the use of these slaves or nodes? See, these things we are going to call as slaves or nodes. What is the use of creating these things? To improve the performance. Arre bhaiya, I don't know what you are doing. I have explained why we need to create these slaves to improve the performance. Right. So here I'm going to change the directory because I'm going to store the slave to information in this particular directory. Okay. Save it. Okay. So this agent 2 is trying to establish the connection. Still it is not established the connection. So guys, if you want to do any configurations for the slaves, click on that one, and if you see configure, you can do. So if you want to delete it, you can delete it. If you want to disconnect, you can disconnect also. So now slave 2 also up and running. So now we are not sure where this job is going to run. This one, Facebook. Why? Because for this one, if you go and see, we have configured that label name. We have configured that label name. So we have given a label name. So which for which one we have configured? This one only, right? Okay, let's see. No, no, no. I think for this one we not Facebook-dev we have configured. I remember. Yes, for this one only. You see, for this one we have configured the slaves. So Facebook-dev job, it may going to run in slave one or it may going to be run in the slave two. Yes or no? Why? We have given that label name called as slaves. Yes or no? We have given the label name called as slaves. Clear? Let's see. Okay. So now click on build now. So it's triggered. Build number 29. Click on this build number. And I click on console output. If you observe in this console output, still it is loading. If you observe here, running this building remotely on slave 2, right? So why? Because we have given that label name, right? So now if you see here, if you go to that Jenkins dashboard, we have given that see here, still it is loading. If you observe one, what do you mean by this one? For a built-in node, it is showing that 3. So here number of executors 1 means at a time it is going to run only one job. Is it possible to increase? Yes. Click on this one. Then click on configure here. Suppose I'm going to give that 5 number of executors. Okay, once you click on configure, you will see here number of executors. Just you can give that number. So save it. What will happen? So 5 jobs it is going to trigger 5 jobs. It is going to run at a time. So if you see now under label under slave one, how many jobs it is going to run at a time? 5 jobs. Why? Because I have increased that number of executors to the 1 to 5. So it was 1, right, earlier. So just I have changed. So now in the slave 1 machine, in the slave 1, it is going to run by default 5 jobs at a time, because I have set that number of executors to 5. But in the slave 2, it is showing that only 1. Why? Because number of executors is 1 only still. Is it possible to increase? Yes. You can go here, click on configure. There you will see that number of executors. So I'm going to change it to that 4. Okay, just you can change it to 4, and you can configure and go to that Jenkins dashboard. And if you see here, slave 2, number of executors are 4. Clear, guys? So like this, you can create a number of slaves or call as nodes, and you can connect to that master instance, and you can increase this number of executors. So this number of executors parameter we are going to increase based on that our server resources. So if your server resources are less, we are not going to increase much this number of executors. Clear, guys? Anybody have any questions? Okay, so tomorrow we are going to discuss about that CI/CD for implementation for Node.js and shared libraries. Okay, so next 3 more classes required. So Dharmendran is asking, sir, if master instance is down, slave also down? No, slave is up. Clear? So we'll continue tomorrow. And yeah, Jenkins migration, it's a 5 minutes topic. Remain me tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.